Shalom, peace unto you from God our Father and Jesus Christ, Yeshua HaMashiach. Welcome to Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Today we're looking at Numbers chapter 18. There are 32 verses in this chapter. Beginning in verse 7, we see the first significant difference. It's talking about you and your sons after you. This is talking about future generations versus with you, the sons with you, those who are currently alive. And then we see according to the whole manner of the altar and that which is within the vail. And you shall minister in the services as the office of your priesthood versus everything of the altar and within the veil. So it's not everything, it's the whole manner of the altar. And you shall serve. I have given your priest's office as a service of gift. So we can see that there's a difference there too. It is given to them. However, it's not just the priest's office. It is the office of your priesthood. And it's the office that it also belongs to his sons. And then we see here an addition of a gift. The word of gift. Looking at the next difference in verse 9, talks about the holy things that are consecrated, the burnt offerings. So these are the burnt offerings versus from the fire. So they're not just anything that came from the fire, but they are specifically the burnt offerings. That's important. That's an important distinction. Whatever things they give to me, of all their holy things, there it is, whatever things they give to me, of all their holy things, set apart things, they shall be yours and your sons, versus which they shall render to me shall be most holy for you and for your sons. So what is the difference here? The difference is these items have been separated for Yah, not for Aaron. They're given to him. Yah is simply giving them to Aaron and his sons for his provision for them out of his own kindness. To be honest, I don't see the difference anymore. Maybe I just need to take a look at it a little closer. Let this be to you from all the holy things that are consecrated, from all their sacrifices and from all their sin offerings, whatever things they give to me. So they're giving them to Yah versus rendering to him. So they are definitely given, not just rendered. Okay? It's explicitly expressed as given. Verse 11, verse 10, we see an omission. You and your sons, not just any male. In the Maz, it says every male. No, it's not every male, it's your sons, the sons of Aaron. That's a very important distinction. Any male just taking part of this will be executed, either divinely or by the congregation. That's just not permitted. Notice Yah is the one who sets things apart, and set this apart, this most holy place and the things they're eating, for Aaron and his sons. Verse 11, notice the distinction between the firstfruits and the heave offering. The Masoretic makes these two different things. makes them two different things, the heave offering and then the wave offering, when they seem to be one and the same in the Septuagint. We see the first fruits, which come from the wave offerings, which are set apart offerings, which is redundant in this language. When you say heave and wave, they're the same thing. The same language, same term being used. Heave and wave are the same thing. So the Septuagint, there seems to be a clear distinction, however, when we say first fruits and the wave offering, and that's possibly different when you think about the first fruit and the wave offering, possibly a set apart offering. Verse 12, the whole verse is different, so let's look at it. Every first offering of oil, every first offering of wine, the first fruits of corn, whatsoever they may give to Yah, to you have I given them. Verses, all the best of oil, all the best of wine, and of the wheat. Actually, it's barley. It's not corn or wheat, it's barley. Actually, wheat is closer to barley. The first fruits of them, which they shall offer to Yah, not just offer but give, them have I given to you. So we can see the first offering should be the best. That's implied. So it's not only the best, it's also what has come first. Meaning you don't delay. When you're doing a harvest, you don't delay in setting it apart. So again, it is a first fruits. Anything given should be the best that is a given. Again, the barley is our early harvest. However, wheat is not the same thing. I have to correct that. Wheat is not the same. It is a later harvest than barley. So it is the first fruit of barley, not corn and not wheat. So it's actually wrong in both translations, because corn did not exist in the Middle East. It's actually barley. The translators lived in a land that contained corn, not barley. Verse 13 says the first fruits versus the first ripe. So the question is, do we wait for the fruits to ripen? Or does it need to be ready to be harvested, which would make more sense? Because if you wait for it to ripen, it might be too late. It might be rotten already. But to be honest, it's a good question. I can't say for certain whether you are supposed to wait for it to ripen in order to harvest it. Would make sense in either case, depending on whether you have farming experience. I don't. Verse 15, the womb versus the matrix, and then we see unclean cattle versus beasts, unclean beasts. This probably means unclean livestock or animals that they own that are not fit to be eaten, such as horses, donkeys, camels, and so on. Moving on to verse 19. Verse 19 says, special offering versus heave. And then we see an omission. It says specially offer. Okay, I don't see it for some reason. Oh, here it is. It's in the Septuagint. That's why I didn't see it. So it says the children of Israel shall specially offer, and that's been omitted, the specially part. And then we see after verses with your seed after you. Again, future generations versus present generations. Verse 21 is important. It talks about the tithe, and it explains it, to whom it is given, and the rationale, why you're giving in the first place. It talks about the work they are doing. So let's read this. And behold, I have given to the sons of Levi every tithe in Israel for an inheritance, for their services, whereinsoever they perform ministry in the tabernacle of witness. So this is to be given to the Levites. That's the first question. Who do we give it to? The Levites. Who are the Levites? Well, we don't know. Most of us don't, at least. And if whoever knows them, it's probably kept a secret right now, or it has to be researched. And why you're giving it is because it's an inheritance for their services, the services they are doing, which is the ministry in the tabernacle of witness. Well, where's the tabernacle of witness? Well, again, nobody knows. It is not publicly made known. Nobody, if it's known, then it's very secret. It's hidden at the moment. And then verse 22, the children of Israel shall no more draw nigh to the tabernacle of witness to incur fatal guilt. Verses, neither must the children of Israel henceforth, similar meaning, to no more, come nigh the tabernacle of the congregation, lest they bear sin and die. Verse 23, bear their iniquities. So the Levite shall perform the service of the tabernacle of witness, and they shall bear their iniquities. So my question is, because I don't actually know the answer, is this talking about the Levites' sins, the Levites' iniquities, or the people's iniquities? It's hard to say. Verse 24, it says here, they shall not receive an inheritance, the Levites won't, because the rationale of why they won't receive an inheritance is explained. Because I've given as a distinct portion to the Levites for an inheritance. What is it? The portion, the tithes of the children of Israel. Whatsoever they shall offer to Yah. Verses, they have no inheritance, but except for the tithes of the children of Israel, which they offer as a set apart offering to Yah. I have given to the Levites to inherit. Okay, so a lot of people, you'll notice a lot of people use this to say, okay, well, you should tithe to me because this is biblical, but you are not a Levite, and I cannot claim to be a Levite either. I cannot use this as a justification for people to donate money to me because I'm not a Levite, and I don't minister in the tabernacle of witness, in a physical tabernacle of witness. If people would donate their money to me, I won't refuse it, but I can't use the scripture to justify or reason that, hey, I'm a Levite, I'm a spiritual Levite, or anything like that. No, I explicitly, I am not. I'm not a Levite, not that I know of. And I don't know of any tabernacle that I'm ministering in. So it would be wrong for me to claim this, or anyone else that is not a Levite, who is not ministering in an actual tabernacle. We do have a spiritual high priest in heaven who is ministering on our behalf. That's Jesus Christ, Yeshua, HaMashiach. So that is probably the closest thing that I can think of that actually is true. But how do you give our tithe to him? Well, that's where you offer yourself as a living sacrifice. You die to yourself every day. Okay, so let's move on. Okay. Offer as a heave offering to Yah. I've given to the Levites to inherit. So verse 26, if, verses 1, a tenth of the tenth, it says here, you will take, shall separate from it a heave offering to Yah, a tenth of the tenth. That's an interesting description versus a tenth of the tithe. So actually it is the tenth of a tenth in both. if you take the tithe from the children of Israel, which I've given you, so he's giving them the tenth from the children of Israel, you shall separate from it a heave offering to Yah, a tenth of the tenth. So they are supposed to take a tenth of the tenth. So let's just say 100 whatever, wheat or barley, and they separate 10 to Yah. They are left with 90 for themselves. That's a generous portion. It's a generous God, generous Elohim. Okay, moving on to the next part here. It says, verse 29, an offering. See here, an offering versus every heave offering. And then and of every first fruit versus all the best thereof. So those are different things altogether, especially the every heave offering. Heave means set apart, so it's different than just a regular offering. And then first fruit, we know, is different than all the best. But to be honest, it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. And that's a problem if it's not exact. Verse 30, a continuous difference is found here. When you shall offer the first fruits from it, versus when you have heaved the best thereof from it. So the first is saying when you offer versus when you have separated, which is not the same meaning at all. Separating means you haven't offered it yet. That's what you're supposed to do in preparation for the offering, is to separate it. Verse 31, any place versus every place. And then the last verse is verse 32 with the difference. For you shall have offered an offering of first fruits from it versus when you have heaved from it the best of it. So the difference I noticed here is the first one, the Septuagint, is a command from Yah, you shall have offered, versus it's up to you. It's when you decide to do it. And we know this is not an optional thing. This is an explicit command from God himself. So thank you very much for your time. That's all I have to present to you on this chapter of Numbers. May Yah bless you and make your way prosperous. Until next time, we'll look at Numbers chapter 19, Yah willing. You've been watching Secrets Revealed, the Holy Bible. Shalom and peace be with you.